Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jeannie and it is finally October, which is my favorite month because that means it's Halloween. So I am really excited to finally start getting into some Halloween manis. So we're going to be using some West Coast Dips products today to do some Halloween nail art. I am a total sucker when it comes to anything Halloween themed, so don't be surprised if I have a couple bonus uploads this month just because I want to squeeze in as many Halloween manis as I can because I definitely have way too many dips. West Coast Dips recently had a release and some of the newer colors were for Halloween. So this is I Smell Children, which is such a fun glitter. And I'll be pairing that with Purple People Eater, which is a solid purple, and Pistol, which is a solid black. I'll also be using their dip liquids, which are some of my favorites, but before we get into anything, I wanted to show you my bottle holder. So this is the Liquid Chaos Trio from Chaos Concepts, but this is actually their October Perpetual Chaos color called Bitchcraft. Pardon my language, but that's really the name of it. So this is only available October 1st through October 31st. So Chaos Concepts Perpetual Chaos color is like their color of the month. So it's a special color that they do only for that month. I absolutely love this color. It's like this dark blue to black shift. It gives me total Blues Brothers vibes. Per my regular process, I'm going to start with my solids first from lightest to darkest, even though these are all dark colors. So I just want to give it a stir, make sure I fluff everything up, and then starting with my dip base, I'm going to be applying Purple People Eater to my index finger and pinky, I believe. Don't quote me on it. Whenever you first take your brush out of the bottle, that's when it has the most amount of liquid. So to avoid any cuticle flooding, you don't want to start your brush at your cuticle line. So I usually like to start at the middle of my nail, work down towards my free edge, and then back up towards the cuticle. And that way it has the least amount of dip base to hopefully avoid any flooding of my cuticles. I will always, though, clean up my cuticle line as well. So I'm using this cuticle cleanup tool. I think I got this one on AliExpress. I do 2 dips of my solids, but just to save time so we can get to nail art, I'm only going to show you 1 dip. You may have noticed I decided to change my nail shape in my tips again. I do like the lipstick shaped tips, but I feel like they're more special occasion rather than everyday wear. But it did make me kind of want to try something different again. So a little more conventional though. So this time I'm trying the iGel Beauty Medium Square Pro Gel tips. It's a little different for me, but I actually don't mind the square shape. It's just harder to type with for some reason. Now that I've done my 2 dips of Purple People Eater, I'm going to move on to Pistol, which is West Coast Dips Solid Black. This is a really great black color, but I'd say it's not really the darkest black, but you'll see that when it's top coated, it is still a really great solid black color. I will also note that I had very minimal to no staining at all with both Pistol and Purple People Eater, so that's really great when you're working with darker colors. Once I'm done with my solids, I'm going to cap my nails in clear, and I always do this before I get into the glitter to avoid any contamination. So I'll cap and clear, scrub off with a stiff scrub brush, and then I will activate. When it comes to activating before you file and buff, I always feel like more is better just because I don't want to file off any chunks. I want to make sure the activator gets through all my layers of dip. So I always do 2 to 3 layers of activator before I file and buff. For my glitter, I'm going to use my Dipped in Chaos by Chaos Concepts, and I absolutely love this. This is 3D printed with some flexible material, and it has completely replaced cupcake liners for me. I don't really like using cupcake liners because it just creates so much waste, but with this Dipped in Chaos, when I'm done with my powders, I can just brush it out with my dust brush, and no powders stick to it, and it's clean. And if it gets a little extra dirty, I can just wash it out with warm soap and water, and then it's clean again. So I don't have to worry about it. It's less waste. So if you're looking for something a little more eco-friendly where your powders don't stick to it, I would highly recommend this Dipped in Chaos. And I have a whole bunch of these because I use them for my swatching as well. So instead of having to do like one color at a time, I have different Dipped in Chaos in different colors. So I have one for glitters, some for solids. I have my opaque one for my clears, darker colors. So I just have a little bit of everything, and that way it makes my swatching a lot quicker because I can do multiple colors at once. Yes, I am that crazy. But getting back to my actual mani, what I'm doing here is I wanted to see if I could get full coverage out of one dip. So what I did is I actually poured my whole jar of I Smell Children into my Dipped in Chaos, and then you see me shaking that, and that's to bring all the glitters to the top because they are heavier and they will sink. So then I laid in my finger to get the most amount of glitter pickup just to see if I could get full coverage, and I'm doing the same for my ring finger and my thumb. After I lay in, while my dip base is still wet, I'll clean around my cuticle line, and then if there are any glitters, I may move them around a bit, just if they're too concentrated, if they're overlapping. And then once I'm done with that, if there are any glitters that are kind of sticking up, I will take my finger and I'll pat them down a little bit just to get them to lay a little bit flatter. So there is a little bit of moving around the glitters that I will do. After the one dip, I'm kind of just looking at my hands, trying to determine whether I'm happy with that coverage or whether I want to do a second dip. I think this is a good look. I could just do some chunky glitter placement and it'd be fine, but I'm the kind of person where I like more coverage, so I decided to go ahead and go in and do a second dip just to get more coverage. But I think it would have been totally fine if you would have left it at one. That's enough coverage. I don't know, I just like fuller coverage. I just want to show you how easy it is to clean out my Dipped in Chaos. So because of the flexibility of it, I just kind of pinch in the end a little bit and I just pour it right back in. I'll do a little tapping just for any of the excess glitters, and just like that, it's clean. I did a little bit of glitter placement with the I Smell Children, but it was only a couple of glitters, so I left that out. So now that I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and cap that in clear, and you always want to make sure you're capping your glitters in clear especially, because most glitters have like a silver center, so if you file through your glitters, you'll kind of remove the color, so it's especially important to make sure you're capping those in clear. And just in case I forgot to mention it, I am using West Coast Dips Crystal Clear, which is a really great quality clear. So I would highly recommend that if you're placing an order to pick some of that up. And speaking of which, I am an ambassador for West Coast Dips, so if you're ordering, you can use the discount code Jeannie10 to save 10% off your orders. That is just an ambassador code, it's just savings for you. I don't make any commissions off of that. I filed and buffed off camera, so now we can get into the nail art. I don't know why, but I've been really enjoying nail art lately. So I'll be using the gel art liners from West Coast Dips. These two are from their newer glow-in-the-dark collection, as well as I'll be using their white liner and then their black gel liner. Whenever you're using gel liners, you always want to make sure you're removing that excess gel that's on the neck of your brush to ensure that you're not going to have drippage while you're using that. And I find that the case for all the brands of gel liners that I've used, regardless of how it's stored. So I always store my gel liners upright, but for some reason it always gets that excess. And you do want to watch it as well when you're doing it, because it could start dripping down as you're using it. Just a little tip that I've learned, because I have gotten gel on my mat when I'm not paying attention. So what I'm attempting to do here is kind of like a mummy wrap with some eyes poking out. I thought that would be really cute. I've seen it in other manis, and I just thought it was a really cute idea. And the great thing about this is there's not really a certain way it has to look, because it's kind of like that wrap look. So I'm just drawing lines for there's no pattern or anything, just like whatever I think how a wrap might look. I'm just drawing some diagonal lines throughout my entire nail, and then we'll paint in some cute little eyeballs. I will say I did try this with and I have in quotation marks, clear gel liner. So West Coast Dips has a glow-in-the-dark liner, but that's clear, but it's not really clear because your glow pigments can't really be clear. So it's got like a little bit of like a sheer greenish tinge to it, but depending on the colors you're using, it could look clear. So I first tried it with that. I didn't like the way it looked, so I actually just wiped it off with some alcohol. So now I'm going to try it with the white liner instead. And after I finish with the white liner and cure it, you'll see, because I'm going to top it with this clear glow-in-the-dark liner. So you'll see that you can't really see it, but it'll get a great glow from it. Technically, I could just use regular gel polish and place a little bit on a nail art palette and then use a liner brush to apply my art. But for me, just because a little bit lazy, I prefer using the liners, because not only are they just a little bit thicker than your regular gel polishes, it's less cleanup, because once I'm done with the liner, I don't have to clean out the brush. I can just put it away and I'm done. So personally for me, I prefer using gel liners when I can. And I like that these brushes are thin enough to where I can get thin lines with it. If you're like me and you're not really great at art and you have shaky hands, I highly recommend when you're doing this type of artwork that you're anchoring your hand. So if you can see here, my pinky of my right hand is anchored to my left hand, and that kind of creates stability while I'm doing the art. So go slow and make sure you're anchoring your hand, so that way it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm almost done creating the wrap. If you can't tell, I went in there with absolutely no plan. So I'm just figuring it out as I go. And then, if I don't like it, that's the great thing about gel, that I could just wipe it off and start over. But I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it sort of looks like a wrap. So just in that little spot where I left a little extra space, I'm just going to add some dots for some eyeballs. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to give it a full cure in my lamp for 60 seconds. Now that my white is fully cured, I'm going to take this clear liner, so you can see it does have like a tinge to it. And I'm just going to go ahead and outline the lines that I already drew with the white. So you can see here, you can see like it's got that like very sheer greenish color to it. But when I apply it over the white, you can't see it at all. So I don't really know what to call this, because it's not really clear, but it's sort of clear. So we're just going to call it our clear glow-in-the-dark liner for now. And just wait until you see the glow. It is so fun. I'll show that at the end. I gave that a full 60-second cure in my lamp, but of course you can't have eyes without eyeballs. So I'm just gonna put little black dots in the center to make my eyeballs. And how cute is this? Moving on to my index finger, I'm going to try to draw a ghost. And so I initially showed you the green glow-in-the-dark liner because I thought that would be really fun to have like a green glow-in-the-dark against this purple. Honestly though, I drew it on and then I had to remove it because I was like, what was I thinking? Like a green ghost? It just looked weird. Like I wasn't trying to draw a Slimer, which hopefully you know what Ghostbusters is, but it just didn't look right. So I just removed it and I'm going back in with the white liner and I'll actually do the same thing of topping it with the clear glow in the dark liner so that we can make our ghost glow. Because if I can make something glow, I will make it glow because I love glow. I'm like a kid when it comes to it. So I'm just kind of drawing an outline. It's not going to be like a full ghost. It's going to be like half of a ghost. So he's kind of floating off my nail. So once I've created what I think is a good outline, I'm just going to take a thin layer of that liner and fill in that space. You don't want to make it too thick because not only you may have problems curing, so you could get wrinkling as well if your gel is too thick. So you just really want to be careful. And I would say if you're not really great at nail art, because I certainly am not, these two designs are super easy and great for beginners. So if you want something cute, but you want something a little bit easier, I would definitely recommend trying these because there's not a lot of complexity, not a lot of details you have to work on, but they're really cute. So I'm gonna let you finish watching me make this ghost and then I'll be back for top coat. I'm going to change it up a bit and use gel top coat, but before you do gel top coat on top of dip, because it's so smooth, it will peel right off. So you always want to go in with a layer of gel base first and cure that, and then go in with your gel top coat. And that'll create a sticky layer for your top coat to adhere to. So if you experience peeling with your gel top coat on top of your dip, make sure you're applying gel base first. Once everything's completely cured, I'm going to finish off my mani with my Scales of a Mermaid Cuticle Balm, and this one is a limited edition. I'm not sure whether it's sold out yet or not, but let me tell you, it smells exactly like banana bread. I would swear I'm baking some. It smells so good. And here is the finished look. What do you think? Seriously, super simple, quick and easy nail art. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. It's really easy to do. And then this glitter, I Smell Children. Look at how beautiful that is. I mean, it's got like green and orange and purple and like fine purple glitters. It's just such a unique glitter and I think perfect for this set. I'm curious, drop down below, have you started your Halloween mayonnaise yet, or are you waiting till closer to the holiday? I mean, if it were up to me, because Halloween's my favorite, I would probably start in early September if I could. So let me go ahead and show you the glow. This I just turned off my lamp and you can see it's already starting to glow. But when I turn off all my lights, just look at that bright glow. And I didn't plan it this way, but they're both facing each other, so they're kind of like playing together. How cute is that? I told you I'm a kid. And also, look at this. My gel liners, they all have like the color lids on them and they are glowing and I didn't even charge them. That's how good the glows on these liners are. So anyway, if you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this and it helps YouTube recommend me to others. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here and I will see you in the next one. Bye.